Okay, back for part 2 on the Saturday, late afternoon. We have our usual suspects in the stream, and we have some new people in the stream as well. So I'm really stoked. People coming by and hanging out for the avocado show. I have to start learning, I have to start to remember to say that this is the official avocado show. And I have to get a hold of a wonderful person from our stream who's an artist that designed the avocado look. I want to get permission from him to use that as the show logo, and not for merch or anything, but you know, everything you always is permission based, especially when somebody gifts you art, you know. So I'm gonna do that. Where is I think there's an avocado emoji. I can't find it. Why can't I find the avocado emoji here? I don't know. I'm just not good at that stuff. But inside the chat here. So here we are. We're back at the avocado show, and we're going to continue moving forward. I'm going to hack through some donos here, and then we're going to hit some Wheel of Cheese. Then I'm going to take a break, literally a break, disconnect the Twitch, and I'm going to come back in a few hours and try to finish Portal 2. Hey, there's the avocado emote. All right. Yes, sir. Courtesy of Cookie Joe, one of our legacy members here. All right, guys, here we go. Are you ready? This is from DJ Tambor. This is a game, and this game is called YSV111. So is that YS8? Lacrimosa. Wait a minute. Why is Lacrimosa? Is that not a name of one of our people here? I don't know. I'm confused. This is the ending theme of the game where all the characters are about to split up and bid goodbye to one another. Kind of like the end of Ocean 11's, yeah? After enduring hell and saving the entire world from being destroyed. Ah, yes. Okay, well, DJ Tambor, one of our legacy members here and our usual suspects, brings this to us for our listening experience. All right. I like that guitar. I like this a lot. This is wonderful. So would this be music to a cutscene? The chord changes are very predictable, but this is very beautiful. I love the way the bass is dancing around in the arrangement here. You hear a little bit of the dirt back there on the guitar? That bass player. Very fun sway counterparts, counter arrangements going on back and forth. I like that. That little subtle toy piano back there is nice. But it makes me feel like they're going to come back with a little bit of heat before they end this. Oh no, they're going to let it just glide. What a great way. If this was an end creds, I could definitely see it, because now it's going to fade to black at this point, or fade up with the company logo or something. Now, because I don't know the game or anything, and DJ, because you said that this was a piece that was written as kind of like a tipping of the hat to each character, saying, "Yay, we did it," kind of a thing, part, you know, in the end cred area, perhaps. I'm gonna hedge a bet that leitmotif is very apparent in there, since I don't know the game, I don't know the song or the music layout on that. If that if that was, you know, akin to that. And also the unique arrangements in the instruments, that perhaps maybe an instrument represented a particular character, you know, because as soon as I started hearing a little bit of that dark crunchy guitar in the background, I'm thinking, well, maybe that's a line to a character, you know, through the storyline or something. You know, a lot of composers will do that, you know. My very first experience was studying Prokofiev. When my dad made me sit down and read Peter the Wolf, not read it in words, but the charts. Could you imagine sitting with your dad and dad going, "Oh, you really like this? Wait a second, son." A couple days later, comes back with the charts and he goes, "Let's read Peter and the Wolf together. I'm thinking it's going to be a book." And he's like, "No." Here's the music. You know, and that was my very first kind of like experience with reading music. I was probably about 5 or 6 or something, showing me that whole little, you know, trajectory and stuff. But yeah, but that's what it sounded like to me. Stand by, let me turn the volume on this down. I'm getting, you know, Saturday afternoons, I get these random texts from my friends that want to have a drink or something, or go out and get some shave ice. And right now I'm here with you guys, and I don't plan on going out and getting shave ice. The traffic on the highway is kind of thick right now, so I'm hanging out with you guys. Anyhow, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, who's next? Lisa, you're next. Okay. Well, I'm going to get to Lisa in a second. I looked over to the thing here, and Just Labs. It's really funny, Just Labs. I just read what you put there, and you know what was unique about reading that through and not knowing anything about music is my dad taught me the pattern of the flow. So even though I didn't know exactly what I was reading, he taught me from a conductor's, orchestrator's point of view of looking at sheet music in that capacity, and kind of learning what it was through image that I was looking at. It goes, because he would say, "Do you see this here? It's going da 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 da," you know, and he goes, "Find that." And I didn't know what music was, but I was able to look and match the rhythm of what that line was, and find that movement on the music, on the sheet music, without yet knowing what notes it was. So that was like his way of shooing me into some reading first, making it fun that way, of like, see if you could see the color of the line, like the lines and stuff, how it moves. And then a little later, excuse me, when I got into writing choral music and singing and stuff, and when I was like 15 and stuff, that really became something really super handy you know, was, yeah, at that point I was writing music and stuff, but that became the fun part of my experience of being a composer, was to look at the sheet music that way, especially in a score, in the master score. It's looking at the flow of everything as well. So, yeah, man, pattern recognition for sure, full-on pattern recognition, and then at that point, it was kind of like, what do you call it when you do something backwards? You look at something and then you dissect it and break it down backwards. There's another phrase for that. What's that phrase? It's used a lot in technology. When you look at something and you break it down and you look it back. Anyhow, thank you, reverse engineering. Thank you, guys. So for me, that was like I would reverse engineer this stuff. I'd say, wait, what are the notes? I don't know what the notes are, but I can detect the pattern. So now let me look at it. Oh, what's the time signature? What key is it in? Oh, okay, this is flatted. Oh, but this note was a natural. Oh, ooh. So, you know, I went at music completely different, I think, than most folks might learn how to read, you know, from the beginning. So, but that in and of itself is what's made me the crazy composer I have become, and was able to make a little bit of a living doing it for, I don't know, close to 50 years. Okay, here we go. Next one is with Lisa. Lisa, I know you were like, God, Jeeves, shut up. Get to my track. Thanks, Lisa, for being so patient. This one is a band called VIII. It's down as a hip-hop track. But here we go. Oh, I like the title, Dabs for the Wu-Tang. You were gonna originally do a metal track, but you settled on this one. So oh, wait a second. Is this your album? Is this your track, young? Is this you? You must declare yourself. Oh, it is you again. Everybody, we're about to listen to a piece of music by one of our usual suspects here, who's with us all the time, Lisa. This is some of her work. And so I love that. And I encourage any composer here or songwriter, please, if you want, don't feel, I'm listening to everything and anything, and I would love to be a part of the experience of your artwork. So, you know, if it comes up on the Wheel of Cheese or you don't know it up, I would love to hear it. Okay, here we go. This is one of Lisa's tracks. Let's go. Little gritty synth there. I like the stereo imaging too. I like the growing of the white noise. Pulses up. Ooh. This is really nice. That little dissonance you have right there. Oh, I love the bass line change here. That little like a tonky piano back there. Oh my God, Shaky Wombat, I was just thinking that. I like that note right there in your bass. Got that little thing back there. I love that. Oops, that was great, Lisa. Everybody, that was Lisa here in our chat. Composer, musician, arranger, artist. That was super badass. And it gave me this really fun, like, if I recall, the word dab, that still has to do with the new age of the last 15 years of getting baked, but it's more of a high condensed like thing. Is it like an oil or something of that nature that, you know, more powerful or potent? And yeah, concentrated, thank you. And what I loved about it is that it really kind of gave you that sense that with the choices of the sounds that you were using, that there was still the intention of the hip hop vibe was always there, but you had these great little subtle sequences or patterns that were happening. That's why I was detecting it with, I was going, ooh, what's that back there? Do, 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 do. You know, and that filled it out nicely. I love the use of your white noise, or it sounded like record scratching kind of white noise. That kind of, it actually came up in tempo at the beginning. That sound that you used at the very beginning, at the very end, was very kind of like, you know, fingernail chalky kind of grind to it. But I loved how it set up with that, and then all of a sudden you just kind of let us off the hook. And that, and your drum pattern, where it was in the mix, I found very trance-inducing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know anything about mixing hip-hop. I know there's 50 different genres of mixing hip-hop and different ways to do it. But I love the fact that your percussion and your loop set, what it was nice. It was pulled back enough so that a lot of the intricacy of your arrangements that have rhythmic patterns to it could come through. So that was great. All right. I thought that was badass. I loved it, Lisa. Thank you for sharing as well. I appreciate it. And please, like Lisa, I encourage any composer, any songwriter, you know, if you got the courage, I'm the guy to, like, you know, and also everybody in the community is you know, super badass. And plus, look, when we put out our music and stuff, I don't think, even for myself, I'm looking for a 100%, you know, everybody's going to love it. Yeah, I love when people say, ah, that's not my jam, that's not my thing, or that was a weird thing, or you suck. I've had a couple of you sucks in the comments on my YouTube channels before, but then you go to look at that person's profile and you realize that, you know, they're watching Two Girls in a Cup. Anyhow, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's just me going, bleh, 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 bleh. You know? Go onto their stuff and and dislike everything. Oh yeah. You know. So, Lisa, thank you so much. You know, I appreciate that. Okay, let's continue on. This is for somebody, excuse me, having a little bit of chest issues today. The Driver 458 wants a band called Fight Facilities. Thank you very much for your cup of coffee. And this one's called Sunshine. So let's see what we got here. I first heard the song back in 2016 when it featured in one of my most played racing games. Oh, okay, great. Oh, this was one of the games I looked at that I was thinking maybe I should buy, but I don't know. Called Forza Horizon 3. Somebody told me I should have gotten the 4. Anyhow, don't want to go off the rails here. The artist is now among my all-time faves, and this track never fails to brighten my mood. Good. I like to hear that. Bring on the bright. You guys ready? Let's go. Mason Gator, that's funny. 2 Jeeves, 1 comment.
Check.
Jeez.
I can see by the dawn words have lost their meaning, but we're carrying on, and I feel you so strong. Anytime with you is like I'm doing no wrong, and we're moving like we need it.
I love this old funk vibe.
Figure it out, take it now. I wanna show you how. I wanna know what it means, what you're all about. Take your time, I wanna change your mind. I wanna make you mine. I wanna figure it out, take it now. I wanna show you how. I wanna know what it means to be on your side. Sunshine on my baby, out on the floor. Sometimes love shines like never before.
Yeah, Ivy, I was just trying to put that together, like the year spread there. That's a great way to put it there. And obviously with really clean engineering too, it makes a difference.
For your kiss, any definition is a failed attempt, and the weight of your words haunt me in my dreams to the point of absurd. And we're moving like we need it. Waves are crashing in and we can barely perceive it, baby. When you move, you make me feel like I got something to prove. Sunshine on my baby, out on the floor. Yeah.
It's got that whole 70s things going.
Sometimes love shines like never before. Never before, yeah. Sunshine on my baby, out on the floor. Sometimes love shines like never before. Never before, yeah. Never before.
You know, one of the things about this, when I was mentioning, I think with Ivy a little earlier, we were talking about, it's got that 70s vibe, without a doubt, with more of a 90s kind of style of production. You know, it's that trap sound, even though we're still holding it just 4 on the floor, kick, don't, you know. What really, to me, what gives me the main, using my sound engineer ears, is that trap sound is what gives it that more current vibe to it. Plus, this is a conversation that usually happens with engineers or audiophiles and stuff. You know, obviously the 70s sound too also has that analog vibe to it, which in of itself is something that no matter how hard plugins try to duplicate that in DAWs right now, you're not just getting that. But I just love the smooth, that kind of 70s Motown kind of jive about the whole thing. And it's really laid back, chill track. And also that pseudo electric keyboard vibe. If that was a Rhodes, it would push a little more into the 70s.
Every moment counts when you're looking for love. The meaning of it all seems to fade away when I see you in that perfect place. Sunshine on my baby, out on the floor. Sometimes love shines like never before. Sunshine on my baby, out on the floor.
Yeah, this is perfect driving music, Doc. Oh, it even comes with a fade. Reminiscent of kind of maybe tipping your hat to the old school days of fading things out. You know? But I like that. It was just such a super glidey track and really laid back. And apparently this was part maybe of a DLC of a game. I think if I read his correctly. But as I was listening to, though, I just kept on staying in that pocket of swimming between the 70s and the 90s kind of thing. And yes, I'm eating Vegemite. Of course I eat Vegetamite. Whoops. Vegemite! It's a very unique, you know, you got to sneak up on it before you get used to it after a while, this Vegemite, you know. But, you know, when people come to Hawaii and they try poi for the first time, the same thing. They crack face all the time. It's like, you know. Okay, so next up is Ginger. Hi, Ginger. I hope you're doing well. If you're not here, there you are, Ginger. Good to see you, bro. You have your band. And also thank you for always coming and hanging out here, like usual. This is Blockhead. Oh, I think I've heard of Blockhead. EDM kind of thingy, I thinky. And the track you want us to listen to, thank you very much for your little dono boost. You've just bought me another jar of Vegemite. This is called The Music Scene. So, for those of you who know the artist Blockhead, we're about to get into it. Let's go.
The music scene has got me down.
Oh. A little 50s playback there. Trippy video already. Wow, super unique textures on the choice of instrumentation or what he's using. Fully suits the video, or vice versa. I love that kit sound. Even though he's got a clap going over the snare. This is, for me, this is that such a chill groove, but it's very blunt worthy. See, I'm hooked into that line. Every once in a while in that little Phrygian thing, there's a sneak of a Lydian thing that happens.
We call that a joint. 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 We call that
You see?
a joint. We call
That's
that
why I
a
said this was
joint.
blunt-worthy.
We call that a joint. 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 We call
It was one of those seductive, super seductive tracks where the series of patterns had, slowly built in and then pulled back out. But the zip line for me in the arrangement was that that would have been the thing. It's really funny since I no longer, get baked anymore for various reasons. I could still recall my whole journey as somebody who, got baked for quite a few years, where something like this and how it would affect me. It's almost like listening to this bass line and stuff brings me back to certain points in my life where I can recall probably just sitting in the backyard completely like a heroic dose of whatever, and just like watch a butterfly on a flower with the wings going flap, 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 and just hearing that bass line in the back going. It's funny too how music can do that, wherever you are in your life, and it's a callback to your soundtrack of life, and it brings you back to a period where theoretically you shouldn't remember shit when you're baked. Because that's like the big joke, right? All those years I got high, I don't remember any of them or whatever, but it just kind of brought me back to, like, it reminded me of a place when I had a house in Santa Monica, and and I used to sit in the backyard, and I had 2 Alaskan Malamutes, and we just sit there and stuff, and I'd be playing Frisbee with them and take a break, and then I'd be all lit and stuff, go run in and take a little hit off of the machine, and just sit there and just be out there and just be like, and then all of a sudden I realized I was there for an hour. That's what music can do to that kind of recall, So, yeah, I didn't mean to equate the music to the drugs and everything like that, but that's just part of my life story. I'm not shying from it. What are you going to do? Thank you very much, Ginger. I appreciate that. And Ginger, you usually come in hot pretty much with some metal-y stuff, don't you, if I recall? And this was a nice little shift up in your playlist. Excuse me. Okay. Speaking of metal. That's right. Oh, right. That's right. You're bringing in the EDM. I'm sorry. Brain sieve. See, this is where my days of getting high in recollection come into the session here. I'm like, who said what? What said how? But speaking of metal, Thomas Cruise, are you here, my friend? Wants a band called Alcest. I'm sure I said it wrong. If it's Alcest or Alcest, it's a metal band. I do recognize the name, so I'm pretty sure I have listened to this band before. Thank you very much for your dono. Very kind. Let's do this. The first single from their new album. It's a masterclass in ambient metal. Ooh, I love ambient metal. All right, guys, let's do this. All right. I like this a lot. Man, they really have those guitars rinsed and some great reverb there. It's kind of a long pre-delay too. Oop, that drum fill. Let's nod to Neil Peart there. Ooh, nice change up. Real nice. Oh, I love this piece for this section right here. What's beautiful about this, the acoustic guitars, somewhat dry, good stereo imaging with the tube guitar, with that beautiful guitar in the background, that the electric clean sound with that beautiful reverb. So glassy. Kind of wishing I was hearing a little bit more of the bass in the mix. I love the soaring vocals in the background there. Right there, I want to stop really quick. A couple things I want to talk about is the fact that this is ambient metal, the connection of all the chords and stuff, making that all gliding across, it's almost like if it's, just a grindy pad, the way it's being played. If you're a composer and musician, you know what I'm talking about. So these chords that are connecting all the way through, the chord changes are all connected. It gives you that journey of the ambient, that ambient vibe and everything. The tone of his voice, I think, is very important to really selling the ambient aspect of this track as well. Because he's not in there and sizzling. I don't know anything about the band and his capabilities, what the band really sounds like outside of this track. But his voice is really selling it across, too, because he's coming across very very storytelling in it without getting, ripped and shredded up into the voice or pushing, big fat melody through it. Another thing is that there's these little arpeggiations that happen. Like even when I'm listening to, there's a clean guitar arpeggiation that's happening. It's one of those things that I listen for when I'm listening to music on what's pulling me through these chord changes. Is there something that I'm going to listen for that's going to be that constant, what's happening here that's keeping me entwined? And there's a beautiful little arpeggiation that's happening here. So I just wanted to bring that up. I just got through saying no sizzle in the voice. Boy, that drummer really took a lot off of Neil Peart. In a good way. That pattern right there, love that. I love what the drum's doing here. See my face respond to that pad? Yay. What a great way to end this track. That is such an unreal maneuver for the production, for the arrangers, everybody in this, to end it like that. I think I'm not really familiar with this, the metal ambient genre, or I think I said yesterday, what did I call it? Black gaze, like black metal but shoegaze combo. That was just my own furball statement, coughing up a furball when I was saying it. I'm really intrigued about this genre. I think I want to go down the rabbit hole on that. And I don't know, is it called ambient metal? Is that the genre? Or is that something that people come up with as like their own thinking of what it is, and it hasn't kind of amalgamated into a series of bands and stuff that are released like that? But nonetheless, so is black gaze actually a thing, or is that something that I lucked out and came up with? So black gaze is a thing. Okay, I'm sorry. Good. Okay. Okay, so then maybe I heard it somewhere, peripherally. I can't think I was smart enough to come up with a genre on my own or nick it. I really got to go a little more into it, because what's really wonderful about this style of production and the way these guys, approach this track is it checks all the boxes for me that I love in music, where it's like it's this beautiful marriage of ambient, an ambient, let's say, delivery of rock and metal by virtue of not having any chugs and any really hard moving riffage going on, but it's these chord changes and And even if these chord changes are darker chord changes, just the fact that they connect and they just run off and they just glide into the distance, either with long sustains or a little help with reverb delays, just to get that treatment to make it sound like you're floating. But even when the drums come in and do the things that like the drummer was doing here, which was doing phenomenal work. And like I said earlier, much like Neil Peart from Rush, there was a lot of stuff that was happening there. It wasn't intrusive to the vibe of it being ambient. It kind of reminds me of how Yes approached, what was the song? Aim high, shoot low, or something like that. Shoot low, aim high. Of course, this is a little more healthier, thicker with the guitar sounds. But I think what was a great move by this band, at least for me, was how they iced it off and they just let us kind of glide off onto that journey with the pad work. Beautiful, very nice voicings on the pads. Not trying to be flashy with the changes. There wasn't, a bunch of notes dangling out there that were, seconds, thirds, ninths, or anything like that. And so I thought that the production and the arrangement of this was fantastic. And I'm grateful to had the opportunity to hear it. And once again, coming from a label that's also known for the more of the gnarlier, hardcore type of music. But I don't know everything about Nuclear Blast either, so I know that they have quite an eclectic stable of composers, band, artists and bands and stuff like that. So thank you so much. That was great. I fully dug that. Okay, next up, Just Labs. Are you in the house? Here we go. This is for you. And this is the name of the track is it Tycho? And it's indie. The name of the track is Glider. The band is called Tycho. The name of the track is Glider. I don't know if I'm announcing it right, but we're doing this, Just Labs. Thanks for hanging out and enjoying the stream, bro. All right. Very unique note just kind of dropped in there for a second. Nice modern play on the Moog sound there. Ooh, I love the bass line in this. Very creative. Some subtle arpeggiation showing up. You hear him in the background? Wonderful. you hear the low tone? Nice. I'm sorry, but that dress looks like one of those Chinese finger torture things. All of his choices have an incredibly wonderful ambient ethereal element to it, and I love that. And it's not stepping on each other. Did it pick up in speed a little bit? Is that what this is called? Doc Doom Chill Wave? You know what else I loved about this track is the percussion arrangements that he had going on. I love that there wasn't a bitey top end to it. So even though they were very dry, which is a very important decision to make in something like this, so that the other elements of all the ambient choices of the synths and the arpeggiations and the lead and the stuff that he had going on really had a good place to live by not muddying up that effect with having, excuse me, hiccups, reverb, or any kind of ambient, early reflection, if you would, and keeping it really nice, tight, and dry, but kind of not snappy and bitey at the top. Not the hi-hats or anything, was not intrusive. It was a great sound with the snare, and how dry that kit was, and all of his percussion, actually made more of an impact on the ambient choices that he used for the patches that he was working for me. So I was able to really enjoy the drop-ins and drop-outs of a lot of the percussive elements of this track. And I guess Doc Doom said that I had listened to one of the tracks earlier and had pretty much the same reaction. So this is another one of those things. What did you call it again? Chill wave, that I have to listen to and get into. You know, because remember I told you guys after surgery I'm going to get back into writing some of my own stuff. But now that I know exactly where I want to live on this next project that I'm doing, it is this kind of like listening to artists like this. I'm not afraid to say I want to listen to some artists and be influenced by, you know, as an old composer, as if I know everything. You know, I think part of the beauty of it in this journey that I've been having in the last 3 years, especially here on Twitch, is you guys have already known that I've talked about being burnt out as a composer. I mean, thousands of tracks that I've written and everything. It's like I got nothing left in me. And what this journey has done is you know, pulled what I thought was a closed artistic soul, pulled it wide open and go, no, there's so much more that's out there, and all these other great things that are out there. It's kind of reinvigorated with me. And this is the kind of track that does it for me. And so is the one before this, the Black Gaze track. So it's just a matter of now finding these specific elements that I'm influenced by, and then making something of my own. So my next album I'm going to do on Suno. I'm totally kidding. I'm going to prompt everything. I'm just kidding. Anyhow, next up, funny enough, is Nex 794. We're doing a game here, Sonic Unleashed. And this one is called Endless Possibilities. Back into the gaming world, featuring the vocals of Jared Reddick from the rock band Bowling for Soup. Oh, I've done a Bowling for Soup song on the Decomposer Lounge. Okay, let's do this. All right. This is in a game? This is great. This is a great track. The engineering is fantastic as well. God, I love that loop going on back there. Or is he playing over a loop as well? It definitely has the SoCal punk thing. I'm thinking a little Green Day too. I love that. The guitar sound in that. I love that. Listen to the bass. Oh, the bass. I mean, I know this is solo, but listen to that bass work. This was a great track. This was a badass track. I so was into it. I guess the SoCal rock or SoCal surf punky rock kind of vibe. Once again, I don't have anywhere near the depth of knowledge that I need of that particular style. I know there's many bands that kind of have that thing, and that's why the only one thing that I pulled a little kind of Green Day out of it and stuff. And I think maybe that was only because of the aggressive style of playing, you know, different kind of vocal performance and everything. The engineering on this was absolutely smoking. I thought a couple times maybe the vocals, the vocal part like if everything was grouped hypothetically in the console or whatever the mixing they're in their DAW and stuff. I still think console, since I come up from the old, you know, Harrison 24, 36 days and you know, SSL and all that sort of stuff, the Neve days. I'm always in my mind still thinking console. But it seemed like there could have been a group nudge of the vocals down, like maybe a dB. Like I wanted to get a little bit more punch of the band through there, but it was such a great track. And whoever it was produced and why it was written, for whatever reason, I guess maybe for this Sonic game, was just perfectly in the structure of culture and pop culture songwriting, perfectly written. The hooks, everything. I was in it to win it from the second the song started. All these little elements I was pulling out, going, but I love that. Well, I love this, and I love that. But I mean, I listen to music to, you know, completely different than most people do. You know, that's why I like to lean on a lot of you folks who are what I call the pure listeners, the ones who are being moved by the music and might have some musical knowledge and stuff. You know, get that kind of connectivity that a lot of times I may not be able to get, because in my mind automatically I go listen to a song and I'm like, breakdown, what's it, you know. And I think that's why a lot of the stuff that I was listening to were more the Black Gaze, or the other track after that, that one track that was right after that. Those are the kind of tracks that make me step away a little bit from the dissection and go, oh, wow. What a great, you know, la 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 kind of stuff. So anyhow, that's my thing. Oh my God, the Studers. What are you talking about? 'Cause I was working on the Ampex 1300s. You know, those way pre-Studer days. Hi, hello, okay. Thanks for coming in the chat. Good to see you here and breaking in here. So yeah, Studers. Hey, listen, Aman, I was in the era when hooking up to 24s with SMPTE. I mean, when SMPTE came out, man, that was like, everybody had to rush. Like, I was working at studios like at Larrabee, you know, in Hollywood, and Jenna Foodie and stuff like that. When that, I think Madonna and Jelly Bean had just finished that album, and everybody was going and running off of that 4,000. What was it? 3,000, the SSL series. I forgot the series, where everybody was hooking up the Studers and stuff. But I will tell you, the biggest anxiety I've ever had as a sound engineer through the late 70s into the mid 80s was aligning the repro. Anybody knows what kind of sweat that is. You know, aligning the tones is one thing, but aligning the repro, oh my gosh. Especially if they came in with 456. What was the other tape? There were two types of tape, 2-inch tape, that would kind of cycle through these studios here in Los Angeles. And man, the repro pad tone adjustments was my biggest nightmare. And that was because when I was taught to align analog machines back in the day, tones were obviously printed on the front of it to align playback. But the repro was getting the tones from the console, and I had been taught from the very beginning, this is like 1981. As this one engineer was teaching me to align, he told me a story about a sound engineer that printed tones and destroyed a song from Fleetwood Mac. And that guy had to move to an island out in the Mentawais and never raise his head again, and he was toast forever for the rest of his freaking life. So I had devised a thing, because there would be these big pads of like blank white tape in between the repro toned alignments and the other one. And I would, as I'm aligning, I would have, not only would I listen for the sound of the white tape, of the clear tape coming across it, more of the paper tape, I would put my hand very lightly on the tape as it was passing through. As I'm aligning it, well, up here would have been the Studers, but in the old Ampex 1300s was below. And so I wouldn't trust just listening for that patch of the tape to go by. I'd feel it and I'd go, okay, you know, stop. Ooh. Bruh. Being an engineer in the 80s, man, I tell you, it was the best lesson of my life, some of the best memories ever. Some of them I don't remember because of the amount of party stuff around. But yeah, that's a wonderful memory for me. Or waking up engineers that were there for 2-day mix down sessions, they falling asleep in the studio while we're still clocking time at the record company. Oh my God, the engineer fell asleep. Let him sleep. Let him sleep. George, can you hurry up and make some changes here on the console? Yeah. Shh. Okay. Oh, here he comes. Until the one day, oh fuck, worst nightmare story ever for an engineer, and having to cover this guy's butt. I'm not going to say who or what session it was, but I always told this guy, don't fucking put your drink by the patch bay. This is why we have this here for you, bro. He says, I'm going to get fired. Rest assured, not only did he spill the drink into the patch bay, but it was a screwdriver. A sticky orange juice screwdriver. I thought that was it. The anxiety, and it was like 3 a.m. He was like, and he went to grab something and spilt that into the patch bay. Fortunately, the only thing that was like the next morning, I called up the first engineer, and I was like going, oh my God, I'm going, well, how are we gonna do this? The only thing that saved our ass is that where he spilt the drink into the patch bay by the console was the lower 64 patches that we didn't have anything connected to. That's the only thing that saved my ass. That patch bay was like kind of dysfunctional, unless I did a custom wiring up. If like some engineer rolled in his own rack gear for mixing or something like that, and then I would have to patch that into the patch bay, that would be for that. So we were able to kind of like PO like an order of 3 strips for the patch bay. Just telling the studio owner, oh yeah, we needed some more because we want to expand this so that we can get more engineers in here to bring the rolling racks. Oh yeah, sure, no problem. Oh, how's that for an 80s engineer, decade of decadence, heavy metal Hollywood story. Okay, that was my little hoot-doot-doot-doot. Can't say who the band was, who the engineer was, but lives in infamy in my life. All right, Shaky Wombat, I am here for you. And you would like a band called Crosses. It's an electronic band. I'm telling you, the world of engineering. And that's another reason, too. One of the things, briefly before I get into playing your song, Shaky Wombat, is that a lot of times, especially in the Decomposer Lounge, when I'm talking about engineering and bands and everything, I always include the engineer as a member of the band during the process. Though today's day and age, I'd say a much higher percentage of the engineering is done by a band member that owns the studio, or instead of outsourcing it to an engineer or something like that. But I always, in a project of an album, especially in a lot of the more progressive metals, stuff like that, I always include the engineers being part of the band. For a myriad of reasons. So the engineer always gets a big tip of the hat, Any studios in Indiana? No. I just hold up. I had about 5 different studios I rotated through in the Hollywood, North Hollywood area. And because remember, back in those days, it was something I was doing just to make enough money to buy buds and go surfing. So my world wasn't quite about, I know what I do for a living at that point, but I'm not trying to be the best of anything. I'm just like, oh, where do you need me to be? Okay, great. How much? Great. Okay. And then after that, I can go surf for like 2 weeks or something, but I stayed in my little pocket. Okay, here we go. Don't you like these little Obi-Wan Kajibski moments where I gotta fart off into my old stories of my past? Okay, here we go. This is the band Crosses. It's electronic, and the name of the song is Invisible Hand. And I'm glad that you're here for the stream too, Wombat. I just caught your message. Okay, here we go.
Ready or not, we started again. the rules of humanity. Drink out of your heart, reach out of yourself, come closer, time your move.
Why do I recognize him?
Reverse the rules again.
I like what they're doing here. Why do I know him? Trippy track. Wow, this definitely has kind of an 80s kick to it, but I love it. Oh. And then I looked at the, now I know, Deftones, Chino. This would be like that Pucifer thing that Maynard does, the side project, you know? Like this, man.
It's only a test. It's only a test. It's only a test. It's only sometimes I feel like the rules.
It's this drum software that really gives it that 80s vibe with that big pad in the back. Wow. That was great to know that it was Chino. And once again, to hear that he has a side project. I know that a lot of these guys have their side projects and stuff. But I'm so well, or the knowledge that I have of him, obviously all comes from all the Deftone tracks that I've done on the Decomposer Lounge. Very, once again, and this reminded me more of Pucifer and Maynard, and not Maynard and A Perfect Circle, because to me Pucifer was that one that was more eclectic, more trippy, more risky and abstract using of instrumentation. That's what this was, you know. And I was like, gosh, I don't know what I like better. Like, I mean, Deftones is its own beast. It's not really fair to say because there's completely different sounds, and even Chino in this one, opposed from Deftones, and let's say Maynard from Tool, to even Pucifer and stuff like that, different personalities in the vocal performances come out. You can always hear little ambiances or little nuances of crossover, maybe little things they might do with their voice or something that you kind of recognize it might be in a Tool thing, or maybe a lean into a melody like a lot of what Maynard might do, might have very tool-oriented melodies that you might hear drift through, more through Perfect Circle than in Pucifer. But in this, for Chino, a lot of their abstract risks instrumentally were like really in your face and got a little itty bitty, a little bit of, you know, Nine Inch Nails-ish, you know, and I think I lean into that only because of that callback to that drum program or whatever they used. It kind of reminded me a little bit of like an old Lynn drum or something like that from back in the day, for those of you who remember that. What was it? Brown, black, red box with the squares and the faders or something like that. So, but Shaky Wombat, thank you first for coming out, hanging out, and sticking through the grind here, and for the cup of coffee. Super mahalo for that. All right. Do you see, and I'm sure that a lot of people who came here early on are no longer even here, but that doesn't matter, because where can everybody go to find their videos if it was one, or even if they missed their dono? Where can everybody go when I post that VOD? They can go to that YouTube channel. Okay, and it always ends up there. All right, guys, are you ready? This is Queso Nuevo, MySpace. Jesus, Scorpius. Oh yeah, I'm gonna call up Tom from MySpace and go, oh God, bring back that channel. We need to bring it back. All right, here we go. Ooh, a little Heimlich, a little furball in that. Okay, Intersat. Intersat is our winner. Let's see what Intersat would like. Intersat wants a band called Jack Stauber, and it is alternative. Let's see what Jack Stauber sounds like. Stand by for a second. And the name of the track is Small World. All right. Here we go.
Jumpstart, fat heart, pop tart. Anyways, it's streamlined. Good time. Oh my, tip brain I'm in. Living in a
Nice. Flexed a little bit of the ambiance in there.
leaning in and falling on anything. The sky is coming down blue, and I'll hold it up with you.
That little kick.
Listen, Big Ben, I am everything you ordered.
I like the chords the guitar's playing.
Drugstore, mark your calendar. Living in her forehead, humming away. Leaning in and falling on anything. The sky is coming down blue, and I'll hold it up with you. But there's always
Trippy.
something you can't leave alone. And it might bite you, might fight you. Little bite, little fight, little bite, little fight, little by little fight, little bite.
I don't know why I'm thinking of Napoleon Dynamite right now. I don't know why. So bad.
Forehead, humming away.
I think it's just that little
Anything.
drum, like
The
very
sky
Casio vibe.
is coming down blue, and I'll hold it up with living in her forehead, humming away,
Living in the forehead.
leaning in and falling on anything. The sky is coming down blue, and I'll hold it up.
For the win. That was a great track. I really dug that. Totally out there in its kind of production. It kind of like Amon said something about it. It was like, it kind of sounds like it was produced somewhere out in the Midwest and stuff like that. And I think that's why at certain points I was going, this kind of gave me a Napoleon Dynamite field. I mean, as far as listening to the music and the kind of imaging I was getting, you know, that kind of vibe to it, it would be kind of that kind of shticky video, not sticky, but shtick kind of a thing. And I think a little bit had to do with that Casio sounding drum kit that was behind there. But I like the kind of pseudo Soundgarden verby clean guitar behind it. And also just the way he performed it too was just a matter of fact. This is the way I'm gonna sing it, even though that I'm fat. Do you really know that I mean it? Something like that. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to do that to you guys. All right, here we go. Let's go for some queso poverty, some poverty cheese, some government cheese. Are we ready for some government cheese? Let's see what we got here, guys. This should be pretty fat. Thank you, Intercept, for your coming in and hanging out. Woof. Look at that poverty cheese wheel, guys. Look at that. Good luck, everybody. This is just a one spin situation here because after this, I'm dipping out. So before I do, thank you guys for coming out. This today was a really super fun stream. And I actually did 5 days in a row. How do you like that? Was that too much? 5 days in a row too much? Is that, you know? But you guys know why I'm doing it, right? So this is kind of like a summer school session, and that's because in July, the middle of July, I have my surgery, and then I'll be down literally for 2 weeks because I won't be able to kind of maneuver and do some things. So I feel like I'm like having fun. Let's do this 5 days a week until I have to go in for surgery, which still isn't about another 3.5 weeks away. So, you know, I figure why not pull the trigger and do 5 days a week. And I always keep on saying, oh, I'll only do like an hour and a half. Yeah. Like that's going to happen. All right, guys, final spin. Here we go. Let's do this. Oh my God. Old Chaotic Boar must be losing his mind right now. That was so close. Oh my God. Oh my gosh, that is too much. I didn't put any WD-40 on that beforehand, man. I didn't, you know. That's just, well, you gotta admit, man, this wheel definitely has, you know, stays true to its greasiness. So that was just hilarious. Not for you. Poor chaotic old boar. Okay, guys, let's go ahead. Let's see what Arctic Stark. Is that it? Arctic Stark. Arctic. Ooh, I'm not going to try to say that. Arctic Stark would like to have. Oh, well, last track for the stream is going to be a game. And the name of the game and the track is called Dragon Age Inquisition. And this is from the Trespasser DLC. The song is Lost Elf Theme. And a little bit of context here before there's a spoiler alert, apparently. The song is about one of the companions who's, depending on your choice, might be either friend or foe, or even a romantic partner. And plays during the reunion when they, after a few years of their sudden disappearance, you find out that he kept a secret who he really is. Now he's trying to fix a huge mistake he made in the past that changed the world. But this might lead to a fatal consequence for the world that exists right now. He is a character with many regrets, who is trying to do the best out of a terrible situation. It is up to you if you want to redeem or stop him. That is my Abba Jeeves reading to the grandkids' voice when I'm reading books to them. Can you believe that? I still read books to the kids. All right, guys, here's the last play of the day. Let's do this. All right. This is beautiful, man. This is plays into everything I just said. Very contemplative, this little section here. Contemplate that word. There's this brightness to the strings, though, that's very unique. I love the passage with that meandering piano back there holding that pattern. Kind of had a little Exorcist vibe. Emotionally epic. Beautiful build here. That was beautiful. I didn't know when I was reading what it was that was left behind me to check out. It already started weaving a story in my head of what it was these characters were going through, and so this was it was a beautifully moving piece, pulling through different emotions of uncertainty. So this whole piece had more uncertainty with the chord changes and the arrangements and everything that was in there, and the patterns. The pullbacks every now and then to that piano pattern towards the end, that was the end in the middle section, was really nice. It doesn't take a lot of music to evoke an emotion. You know, it could take a lonely piano doing just something in the background and stuff to pull some of the weirdest things out of you. And it definitely played this piece now, knowing, and also knowing that this was a DLC, download DLS. That I don't know if this was actually in the game, but the fact that it was composed with that part, with the storyline of the game and that section in it, must give something to the people who play the games a little more to bite into the storyline musically with it. So I think that's another wonderful thing that happens with the gaming industry and video game composers, is they have that opportunity to expand their work if the gaming people allow a DLC. Go ahead and write some music to it, and we'll put it through our systems and, you know, attach it to, you know, the scene, or an expanded piece of music to a very well-known I just said it, scene in the game. I don't think they don't do DLCs for anime, do they? I would think that anime are complete pieces, and because they're more scored out. But I think that's a wonderful opportunity. I mean, since when did you ever hear a band do that, or an artist, you know, put out an album and then decide to add a little more stuff later as a DLC or downloadable content, something like that? But what do I know? I'm an old fart sitting 2,500 miles in the middle of the Pacific Ocean and enjoying my time with you guys. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. I know there's a few of you left. I know it's very late in the evening, if not early morning, or you guys are now getting up and getting ready to do what you do on your Sunday, even though it's Saturday for me, or wherever you are. Thank you for hanging out. I actually cleared all of my dono pushes for the week, so that was fantastic. Oh, they're more common, aren't they, Park Pal? Yeah, it's a lot I got to learn still. Yeah, right. Right, Aman. We ended with something that was very apropos. Very, very chill. So, 4 p.m., Liquid and Silco. If it's 4 p.m., where are you? Are you in Australia? Would that be? Something like that? Anyhow, so I'm off for a couple days. Tomorrow I'm going to be spending some time with Snake and my mods, who've already left and they've gone to sleep. They left me here running the boat. You know, they kind of put some things on autopilot, and some things I'm like, ah. And then I have a few of you that also help out as well, that'll chime in if new people come through for the requests. I appreciate that so much about the community. And I think this weekend I'm going to be setting up the Minecraft server so that they can be multiple players, and I guess maybe that's a Discord. I'm not too sure how that works, if I play that on Discord and then I could stream it. I don't know. They're going to help me with that. And also Snake is going to help me try to identify what that driver issue is that keeps on making me go into robot voice, something like that. So yeah, I look forward to the Minecraft server. Looking forward to a couple days of just chilling, and I got some yard work I got to do and stuff. And thank you so much for this full week, my very first 5 days in a row. And I'm kind of surprised people hung out through that, because I'm thinking to myself, I've got to be a boring old coot by that time. I'm just like an old curmudgeon-y music guy with my own little, you know, way of doing things. But who knows? Maybe next week I'll venture into my lounge chair and have a snack for my break. I don't know. We'll make it fun. All right, guys. Big fat aloha to everybody. Have a wonderful next couple of days. I will be back on Tuesday and continue the run. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So you guys take care of yourselves. And have